Hey everyone, welcome into the channel. I'm Chad Anderson, and today we are joined by none other than Brittany Sircy, who is a real estate agent in the Nashville market with Compass Real Estate. Brittany, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I thought it'd be good to just have, you and some other people in the industry come on and just kind of talk about the experience. And so that's some of what we're going to be doing on the channel here and actually going through the real life experience. Because I think most people can understand social media is not real life a lot of times, like maybe here and there, but overall, not really, not very much real life.
Very
You know,
true.
what's the old saying? If it's on the internet, it must be true. Is that right? So,
Unfortunately, it's not.
yeah, and we hear a lot of crazy things and crazy stories and crazy questions. And Brittany and I never want you to not ask a question because you think it's crazy. A lot of times it doesn't even surprise me, probably doesn't surprise Brittany because people just get misinformed a lot of times. And so that's some of the things we want to clear up today. So, Brittany, you've been doing this for a bit. You've been successful in Nashville. Buyers and sellers, first thing, elephant in the room for the last 18-ish months, 12 to 18 months about this whole NAR settlement. So there was all this talk about what it's going to be, what it's going to mean. Everybody was projecting what's going to happen. But in your experiences so far, how has it truly impacted some of your specific deals? Like, what have customers asked about it? What have you run into? Is it as bad as people made it sound out to be? What's been your experience?
I find that people are not educated. They are very confused because the media, they grasp a certain storyline and not the
Yeah.
full picture. Nothing has changed. All commissions are negotiable, and they always have been.
Right.
And that is supposed to be stated up front. I am not seeing it impact my daily deals because I am educated. I am educating my clients from the get go of, what the commission structure is, what that can look like, how that can impact you if a buyer's agent commission is not offered. But at the end of the day, everything is negotiable. If it's not offered, you might be able to talk them into it with this market or just in the future. We have to work as a team together on both sides.
My thing has always been, like you said, it's always been negotiable. Maybe some people didn't think it was, but my thing has always been in a buyer's market, the seller's going to give in. The seller's going to do whatever. In a seller's market, it may be tougher, and we did see that some during COVID, where commissions were getting cut. Some builders weren't even paying commission because they didn't have to. That's how crazy the housing market was
Mhm.
during that time. So, like you said, it's been negotiable the whole time. There's just maybe some formalities around it at this point. Um, is there the current state of the market? I mean, it's been like this over and over, and obviously applications and whatnot will follow interest rates for the most part. People getting a little more motivated with some of their equity and what have you. But have you seen like a certain demographic be more active recently? Like, and I mean that in first time home buyers, luxury home purchasing, step up buyers, people, is it relocations? Like, what would you say has been the biggest piece of the pie or the most active recently?
I see a lot of out of town buyers because Nashville real estate is cheaper than other parts of the country and the cost of living here is cheaper. I'm still seeing a huge influx of that. The luxury market, I'm still seeing a lot of movement there. There's just a lack of inventory. And
Mhm.
then for first time buyers, a lot of new construction is offering big incentives to help offset the rates and to help them out. So I am still seeing movement on pretty much all fronts. There's
Yeah.
never a perfect time to buy.
No, right. It's never a perfect time. It's never an awful time. Like it really just when you're ready. The only thing I tell people is buy when you're ready, buy when you can afford it, buy when it's not going to, stress you the hell out. But at the same time, real estate, you know, over time has proven to be, one of the best assets you could purchase in your lifetime. So, when you have the opportunity, again, if it makes sense and you can afford it, It's never a bad time, in those situations. Um, Today's housing environment. Let's stay on that. What's been the biggest, I guess, gripe? Consumers, agents, even lenders, title people, insurance people. What's been your top couple of gripes that you've seen or heard right now?
I would say affordability for young buyers. Nashville prices in the last few years, 10 years, have really gone up. So the price of housing, the prices of the houses are really affecting first time home buyers.
Right. Yeah.
Another gripe I'm hearing is lack of inventory with the election, with interest rates, with inflation. People are just pausing a little bit more right now. So there's just not a lot of great options. And then agent wise, I will say the byproduct of recent years with a hot market, the agent experience varies greatly. You have your tried and true agents who are well seasoned and can walk you through everything, and then you also have agents who just jumped right in. Oh, my cousin just got their license. You should use them, but they don't know anything. They don't know how to navigate the complexities of the daily steps with real estate.
Let me go back to first time home buyers and new construction. And because I am now even seeing sellers on resale properties who are willing to give up bigger chunks of concessions for buyers, because we're in this weird state, right? Where people got so much equity so fast if they bought a home prior to COVID. And now they're sitting here going, well, I can't spend my equity unless I sell it. That's the only way I can get my equity. I mean, you could cash out or do a HELOC, but then you're taking a higher interest rate. So they want that equity, right? And so they're giving up some concessions. What has been the feel and the vibe around temporary buy downs? Because people have used them, but the problem I'm seeing is people are using them anticipating rates coming down, and for now 2 years they haven't come back down. They've maintained. We've only seen very short windows of in the fives. It's been sixes and sevens primarily. And so what have you, I don't know, has the temporary buy down kind of lost its luster, or is it still a popular thing right now with some of your clients that are asking questions?
It is still popular. I have actually been asking a few sellers about that lately for a buyer that it's not stated on the MLS, but the sellers are just getting antsy to sell. But I'm also on the buying side advising my clients of that 2-1 buy down is fantastic for 2 years.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can refinance, but that is not promised. So we need to look at payments for down the line. Are you comfortable with this? We need to look at every scenario so that you are protected.
Yeah, it is got to be one of those things like, hey, here's your worst case scenario. Can you make that work? But
Mhm.
and if you can, great, you can do it. But yeah, you try to give like a breath of fresh air for the first 2 years. But some people right now are in that spot where it's been tough because rates haven't come down as quickly as they hoped. Let's keep going. If there's one or more, or you give me top three, give me whatever you want. What are people most unprepared for? Like, we talk about misinformation, social media. My brother had a plumber at his house who told him that he should do this, and now he told me that, and I saw something else on TikTok, so it must be true. What are people unprepared for when buying a home, or how are they misled when going through the home process?
Well, I think an unprepared buyer reflects on the buyer agent, and we should not be turning to social media to be educated. There's a lot of bad information out there, and you want your real estate agent to be well informed, to walk you through, to hold your hand from the first phone call all the way up until after closing day. So, I feel that I prepare my buyers for every scenario. Let's talk it through. What does this look like? But that is a reflection on me that I need to make sure my buyers are prepared for anything that could happen because there's curveballs every day in real estate. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I talked to somebody the other day in a pre approval who had spoken with one other company. And I was so blown away because that loan officer told them like, "Hey, you're good, you're approved," and they were approved. They can buy a house, but that loan officer didn't tell them what their payment would be or what their cash to close would be. I'm like, so if you know you're approved but you don't know what for, you may be shopping in the wrong price point. You might be thinking you can get a down payment assistance program and you can't, or you can but the payment changes to something drastically different. Just all kinds of things. It kind of blows my mind, but you're right. It is a reflection on the work we do. um, Last thing we'll leave with this seems like kind of a tug of war market right now. We mentioned sellers and their equity, and then people who want to buy but they're struggling with affordability. So what have you seen just recently? Because it feels to me that if you have the right house at the right price, it goes quick and they probably get a really good offer, maybe list price, and they don't give up very much. But then there's a lot of these other houses where sellers just seem fixated on this idea that they're still going to get all this major equity from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and buyers are sitting here going, "No, I'm a first time home buyer, so I can't afford it, and I'm just going to wait again." Or I'm a step up buyer, and I would buy your house, but I don't want to give up my 2% interest rate to buy your house if you're going to ask that much for it. Is that actually what's going on? I don't do the real estate side, I do the loan side, but it feels like there's kind of this tug of war going on between sellers and buyers right now.
This is completely true. We have sellers that are fixated on the prices from previous years when we had an all out bidding war. And we are not there anymore. We have to price for the market. And that is a reflection on the buyer's agent. We have to educate the sellers. We're not in 2021 anymore for that just blowout price. So if you want to sell your house, you need to price accordingly with all that's going on in the world, with interest rates, with appeal, with desirability. There's so many things to look at, and that is a tug of war between the seller wanting top dollar, which of course I want them to get, but also you have to want to sell your house, and the longer you sit on the market, the less you make.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, those days on market rack up, and there's all kinds of little tricks, but people are wise to them these days. Like, we'll pull it off the market, let it sit for a
Mhm.
week, and put it back on, or we'll do this or we'll do that. And people are wise to it; they figure it out. So, yeah, it's just interesting to see kind of who gives in first on those sides. So, we'll see. And with rates, the forecast is that they'll be in the fives next year, 2025. This is being recorded a week before the election. We'll see. There have been a lot of forecasts over the last 8 quarters, and very few of them have been accurate. So we'll see what happens. But Brittany, thanks so much for hanging out and going over some of the market questions and recapping. And appreciate you joining me. Oh, we lost you right there at the very end. All right. So she's Brittany Sircy. I'm Chad Anderson. All of her contact information will drop down in the comments and in the caption. So make sure you reach out to Brittany. If you have any real estate needs, there you go, you're back. Make sure you reach out to Brittany if you have any real estate needs, buying a home, selling a home, listing, marketing, whatever. She's fantastic. And I was just telling them we'll put your info down in the caption and in the comments so people can reach out if they have questions or want to explore doing some real estate deals with Brittany. So thanks again, Brittany. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great one, and we'll be back with more on the channel later on. Take care.